And now, I shall resurrect Slifer the Sky Dragon!
Oh man, he just brought back an Egyptian god!
Slifer's attack points are determined by the number of cards in my hand. And since I'm holding 4, he now has 4,000 points!
Hey guys, this is Slifer Maniac. Guys, now today we do have a very special deck profile to unfold, because like this is the villain of the Duel Monsters era, namely our Yami Bakura right before you. Now I do know this deck is very difficult to build, as we are many cards from this Dawn of the Duel arc from the Yami Bakura deck profile are TCG anime exclusives, so we do not have them in the TCG yet, but others as well. And the other difficulty is that we have mainly 3 different decks, because like we do have the Egyptian arc, which where Yugi and his friends along with Atem go back to the past to discover one or other secret, and Yami Bakura is the very one leading them to that very past and the memories of the Pharao Atem. And so we get to duel or get to witness the cards that Yami Bakura, the real Yami Bakura, the thief of the past, got. But we do have also another version of Yami Bakura, which is the very one of the present time. And he duels with 2 different decks. First of all, he has having a face-off against none other than Seto Kaiba, fleeing then to Egypt, breaking up right between the duel, and then luring Seto Kaiba also to come there to Egypt, and then also bringing him into the realm of the Pharaoh's memories to ancient Egypt. And then do we get to witness one Yami Bakura fight against the little Yugi, not against Atem or Pharao or Yami. So we do have several strategies that I had to combine within this very deck. And of course also I had to make some additions, as we do just see portraits of each deck. And then I had also to make other adoptions and assumptions which would make sense and give this deck a little bit more playability. So let's just, without further ado, dive into it. The suspense is killing me already. We also do have now, with time, with this release of the the Maze of the Master set, not this year or last year, some other releases of Yami Bakura cards which were anime exclusive, and they are of course also taking place into that very arc. Then I noted and added other cards which are similar to anime exclusive, maybe a similar design or similar effect, or maybe even both. Now any other distraction, let's just jump into it and then analyze what strategy and tactics we have in here. So first of all, we have the Headless Knight, an Earth attribute 4 stars, a fiend type monster, of course, 1450 attack, 1700 defense. So the defense posture is not that bad, but this card is basically one of those cards which are in here in order to bring more fiend type monsters into the graveyard. But it also has another purpose in here, which I will discover with you guys then together. We do see this card played out against Seto Kaiba in the very first duel at the beginning of this Dawn of the Duel arc, as well as Earl of the Demise, which is one of his more high level monsters, Dark attribute 5 stars, Fiend type monster, of course, 2000 attack, 700 defense. And before we get into other things, I would just tell you that these two are pieces of a fusion. But that's all one of the reasons why they are here. But we will unfold that fusion monster later on. We do see also Doom Caliber Knight, but against the Little Yugi, one of the later duels. Also one of his cards which he used in Battle City like the other two. I'm wondering why Yami Bakura was nowhere to be seen in the Orichalcos or in the Grand Championship arc. I mean, of course there are fillers, but we still could have had him hidden somewhere at least. Just seen him maybe from afar or something like that. Very strange. So Dark Attribute 4 stars. A Fiend type monster, of course, 1900 attack, 1800 defense. Good attack, good defense stats for a 4-star monster. And its effect works like that. Cannot be special summon if a monster effect is activated. Quick effect, tribute this face-up card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So it also has a quick counter effect against effect monsters. And also, of course, it cannot be special summons. A little downside also in here. But this one would be also on target to have in the graveyard for one of many Fiend type monsters in here in order to be banished for his Dark Necrophy to be brought out. I have Summon a Monk here, a card which he do not possess, at least that he doesn't know. We do not know. But there is an anime exclusive card which is called Disgraced Mage, and I committed myself to sort of exchange it because it doesn't exist in the TCG yet. Konami, please do something about that. It's a 4-star monster, Dark Attribute Spellcaster, and I think the Disgraced Mage is also a Spellcaster type, so here we go. 800 attack and 1600 defense. While this card, its effect works like that. While this card is face up on the field, it cannot be tributed. So a little downside here, but maybe if your opponent steals it, then he or she cannot tribute it either. If this card is normal or flip summoned, change this card to defense position once per turn. You can discard one. So also a good effect if you like summon in face of attack mode, then it's directly switched to defense mode. And once per turn you can discard one spell. Special one will level 4 monster from your deck. But that monster cannot attack this turn. So also a special summon effect, very handy indeed. So that's why I have it here. Then we have a Necro theme. I didn't mention it in the outline from the start. That we do have a Necro theme, like not only Dark Necrophield, but like Necro Soldier, Necro Wall, Necro Jar, and all those Necro cards. So I changed the Necro Wall. It doesn't exist in the TCG, so I gave him Wall of Illusion instead. Because the Wall theme wasn't here, and it's a Fiend type monster. A Dark Attribute 4 stars, Fiend type, 1000 attack and 1850 defense. And in fact works like that. Monster that attacks this card is returned to its owner's hand after damage calculation. Damage calculation is applied normally. So a good defensive posture, good defensive stats, 1850, and also sweeping the monster of your opponent back to his hand. If it's a high level monster, for example, then you clearly have an advantage. Morphing Jar, a card which he played out in Battle City. We have a jar in here, the Necro Jar, but also a card which is not currently existing in the TCG. So Konami could also bring in the Necro theme as a deck theme. In the meta you have always deck theme, deck topics. So a Necro theme would be great, and then we could also play those cards in those decks if you want to build it after Yami Bakura. But I gave him Morphing Jar as this was a monster card which he also possessed in the Duel's Kingdom as well as in Battle City, and it also has a very convenient effect. Earth attribute 2 stars, rock type with 700 attack and 600 defense, but essential on this card is the flip effect. Both players discard all cards in their hand and then draw 5 cards from their deck. Very handy card that I and I think many others would recommend to have in many decks, especially like decks playing with the graveyard, with graveyard effects, or like just with destructive mechanics. Like Yami Bakura also has in the Dawn of the Duel arc, one of his decks against Lil Yugi is very destructive in nature, where he really like targets and aims at Yugi's deck to be destroyed, where Lil Yugi has to destroy cards from his deck and bring them directly from the deck to the graveyard. So here we go. That Morphing Jar really would fit into that very line of strategy. Then another exchange I made for Disgraced Mage, not only the Summoner Monk but also the Dark Necromant, which is an Dark Attribute 4 stars zombie type, because also Yami Bakura has got zombie types in his deck, like Goblin Zombie for example, or Gurnia. 1000 attack, 1400 defense. Its effect works like that. If this card is normal special summoned, you can take 1 fiend type or zombie ritual monster from your hand or your deck and put it to the graveyard. Then you can take 1 ritual spell card from your deck and put it to your hand. If this card is banished, you can choose one of your banished fiend type or zombie type monsters level 4 or lower and special summon it as a special summon, and this is 1 per turn. So it clearly, we have the Dark Zork in here, which is the boss monster of the past, and it's a ritual monster. So we can maybe put Zork then with this effect to the graveyard and put the ritual spell to our hand. And also it has also an Dark Necrophear supporting effect. We have to banish fiend type monsters from the graveyard, and they can be brought back with this effect. If you banish this card, then you can bring back 1 fiend or 1 zombie type monster from the banishment, and then special summon it. So also a handy effect. It fits to this whole topic. Then we indeed also have Necro cards, like Necrobind. It's an Dark Attribute 2 stars, it's in Fiend type, it's 600 attack and 0 defense, and its effect works like that. You can tribute this card in order to put your Synchron or an tuner monster from your graveyard, special summon it. You can during the very phase that is brought back by special summon, cannot be used as a synchro material monster. So I didn't bring this card because it's really a card for good for Edison, or maybe for 5Ds. It might be a 5Ds card, but it's the Necro theme in here, and it's a Fiend type monster, so that's why I'm going with this, and also it fits in the overall Yami Bakura theme. But Necrophase, clearly a card which is referring to this puppet from the Dark Necrophear. It's of course Dark Attribute 4 stars, zombie type, 1200 attack, 1800 defense, so a very strong defense lineup, and its effect works like that. Also fitting to that deck destructive theme. If this card is normal summoned, then you can, of course I did forget about that, you can shuffle all banished monsters back to the decks of their current owners. So like also the cards which were maybe banished by the effect of Dark Necrophear. And this card gets 100 attack for each the cards that been brought back to the deck from the banishment. And if this card is banished, then both players got to put the top 5 card of their decks and banish them from play. So also it has the deck destructive effect, maybe for either player, but like this is an eternal concept. So maybe I think you can afford 5 cards to be banished, especially as we have Dark Necromancy in here, which brings also back one of those cards. Yeah. So Dark Necrophase and just Necrophase. And we have Necro Defender. Also a card which I'm not sure about that one, if this card was actually in Yami Bakura's deck, but also it refers to that very headline, you might say it, the Necros. Yeah. Dark attribute 2 stars, Fiend type. 0 attack, 800 defense. During a main phase, this card you can banish this card from the graveyard and another banish effect in order to choose one monster that you control until your next end phase of your opponent. That very monster cannot be destroyed by battle, and you do not get any battle damage involving battles with the very monster. So also a very good effect in here that prevents your monster from being destroyed, from you losing life points in general. Then for this one monster, yeah. So of course it also has to be destroyed, which Yami Bakura does very much in Battle City. He just plays the monster cards and let them be destroyed in order to put his strategies into effect. Very cunning in nature, of course. Earthbound Spirit. I think we do not see this card being played out at all in this arc, but it is one of those cards that I thought would be very appropriate for this deck. As it is in like 2000 defense, 500 attack, Earth attribute 4 stars, and it's free type, of course, but they're very strong defensive posture. So yeah, there we go. Also, I gave him the Ghost of Fled Dreams, also one of those monsters that he engaged into battle in the Battle City arc. Of course, Dark attribute 4 stars, a fiend type monster, 1300 attack and 1800 defense. Also one of those cards having not so bad of a defensive stats. Then Man-Eater Bug, a card played out in the Duel's Kingdom arc from him against Yami, or a Tem. Earth attribute 2 stars, insect effect, 450 attack and 600 defense, but that's not what's essential about this card. Mainly what is, you might say, relevant about this card is the flip effect that says destroy one monster on the field. White Magical Hat, one of those monsters that he also plays out in the Duel's Kingdom. Light attribute 3 stars and spellcaster type, 1000 attack and 700 defense. If this card puts battle damage to your opponent's life points, then he or she has to discard one card from his hand randomly, and also puts onto that destructive effect which Yami Bakura has in this very arc. Malekith, the 4-faced beast, one of those cards that he also has in Battle City. You saw it in his hand. It's in Fiend type, so there we go. Dark attribute 4 stars, Fiend type, 1500 attack and 1200 defense. Mask of Darkness, a very controversial card, because like we do not know, neither the manga nor the anime Japanese dub or any of the others says clearly which these cards belong to. Either it's Pegasus or it's Yami Bakura, but I think it would also fit very good to Yami Bakura as has an flip effect to bring back a trap card from the graveyard, and also as a Fiend type and Dark attribute. 2 stars, 900 attack and 400 defense. Like I said, flip effect, bring one trap back from the graveyard. So I think it is very proper to have this in this deck. One of his trump cards in Battle City that he nearly brought him to victory is Jargon the Spiritualist. Light attribute 3 stars, spellcaster type 200 attack and 1300 defense. And its effect works like that. Randomly discard one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy all special summoned monsters on the field. In addition, as long as this card remains on the field, no monsters can be special summoned. This card would be actually very dangerous also in the meta today, I have to admit. But other than that, it did help Yami Bakura very much to destroy his own Dark Necrophilia, which was special summoned by Yami, or Yami slash Yugi, Yugi and Yugi slash Atem in the Battle City final rounds. And then it just was destroyed by this by Jargon's effect, and then the Dark Sanctuary has been brought back then with Dark Necrophilia being in the graveyard again. Then Secrets of Portrait, also being used in Battle City, and Earth attribute 4 stars, and Fiend type monster, of course, 1200 attack, 1500 defense. There we go. Sangan, also one of those iconic monsters that still to this day are very useful in the gold format. It's an Earth attribute 3 stars, Fiend type monster, 1000 attack, 600 defense, and its effect works like that. If this card is sent from the field from the graveyard, then you can retrieve one monster with 1500 attack or fewer from your deck to your hand. And yeah, you cannot use the card that very card's effect for this entire turn. Yeah, the downside button. I think they're like not reprinted, I want to say redirected the text a little bit, corrected it in a little way, so it does have a little minor detail downside, but I think it's not even necessary. So now about his high level monsters, I've gave him Dark Ruler Hades, like of course that's a card which he played out in Battle City, so I think it is also appropriate to have it in here. Dark attribute 6 stars, Fiend type monster, 2450 attack, 1600 defense, and its effect works like that. As long as this card remains face up on the field, negate the effect of effect monsters destroyed by Fiend type monsters by on your side of the field as a result of battle. This card cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. So this one cannot be special summoned, but as long as it's on the field, you can. If it's like destroys monsters, also as this one is also a Fiend type monster, and also all other monsters of you that are Fiend types, which are, yeah, you might say, really mostly of the entire monster army that he's got, then the effects of those monsters cannot be activated. Then, of course, the iconic Dark Necrophilia, which we do not have to, cannot be missing in here. It's in Dark Attributes 8 stars, Fiend type 2200 iconic attacks and 2800 iconic defense, and its effect works like that, of course. This card can not be normal summoned or set. It can only be special by removing 3 Fiend type monsters in your graveyard and play. When this card is destroyed as a result of battle or by your opponent's card effect, it is 3 and equip spell card at the end of the turn. Equip one of your opponent's monsters with this card. As long as it is equipped with this card, you control the equipped monster. A little bit like 1000 Eyes Restrict, but just if it's destroyed. And it doesn't matter if it's like from battle or from any spell, trap, or an effect. Then the final 2 boss monsters, which are very key core to his strategy. Yami Bakura plays out against Seto Kaiba, so the present, you might say, the present one and done of the duel, which is Diamond Colonel. But also, this monster card has an appearance in the past where he nearly succeeded in destroying the Pharao and also the 3 Egyptian boss monster cards and all his staff with this Deerbound monster. And Dark attribute 5 stars, Fiend type monster with 1800 attack and 1200 defense. And its effect works like that. If this card declares an attack, it gets 600 attack points. So like then it's got 2400. And during the very turn of any player, you can choose this face-up monster. Choose a face-up monster that your opponent controls. It loses until the end of the turn. Attack accordingly to its current attack, the current attack of this card. Then you banish this card until your standby phase of the next turn. Oh, great! So it also has an attack decreasing effect for your opponent's monster, but you have then banish it, but then bring it back, so it's not that easily destroyed even. By the way, this card, I think, as a holo, is only in the Duel Saga print, where it is in a holo, because it also has a common version, but I think it's Legendary Duel Season 3. But other than that, those two prints, I think, the only ones. So, last but not least, of course, is great. You might say evil, dark shadow creature, which really resembles and embodies evilness, cunningness, and craftiness, which is Dark Master Zork. Of course, a ritual card with 8 stars, a Dark Attitude Fiend type monster, 2700 attack, 1500 defense. So also in terms of attack stats, it's the strongest monster. Of course, you had to ritual summon this card with contract with the Dark Master. Once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided die. That's its effect, and destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you roll 1 or 2, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. If you roll 3, 4, or 5, or destroy all monsters you control. If you roll 6. So like 1 or 2, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. If you roll 3 or 4, or 5. All monsters your opponent controls if you roll 1 or 2, but destroy 1 monster if you roll 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so 1 or 2 is all monsters of your opponent, 3, 4, or 5 is just 1 of your opponent, and if you roll 6, then you have to destroy all of your monsters. So also a little downside there. Yeah. Okay, so this is his monster lineup for this very arc. Like I said, I made many additions. Basically, the cards which we just see him play out in this very arc, and also being present in the TCG, is Dark Master Zork, Diebound Colonel, 1, 2, these two, 1, 2, 3, 5, I think, and the other ones, because like the Necro cards are not existing, like I said, in the TCG, except for these ones, and he doesn't use them in his games. So Necro Defender, Necro Face, and Necro Bind, they are all not existing in the games, or he's not engaging in the battle. Maybe we had it, but we can just speculate about that. And those two are of course exchanges. These two are also, and those others are all monsters which he played in the past Battle City era or in the Duelist Kingdom arc. Okay, so this is it. We might make a photo or video or whatever, and I count to 5, and then we get into the spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what can I say about the spell cards? The spell cards. We do have. We did get new spell cards which he played out in this specific Dawn of the Duel arc, but not all of them, I have to admit, but some of them, which he played out against Seto Kaiba. But first of all, we will of course start with Pot of Greed, one of the cards which I think also he played out against Seto Kaiba. What does it? You have to draw 2 cards, of course. 1 polymerization, as we have infusion monsters in here clearly. So we do need this at least once. If you want to make this deck a little bit more playable, you also can put it twice or thrice in here. Then we do have one of the new cards is Spirit Illusion, which he plays out against Seto Kaiba, and it's an equip spell card and works like that. Equip only an fiend type or zombie type monster with level 5 or higher to this card, like he equips to Dearbound, I think. And if it's an attack is declared, and which this equipped monster is involved, and a monster of your opponent as well, you can choose the monster of your opponent and let it get attack, decrease its attack according to the attack stats of the equipped monster. And you can then also put another effect, or another of two effects into effect. One of those is you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck, and then use monsters from your hand or your side of the field. So also this works also a little bit like polymerization. So if you want to have twice, then in this one as well, I think it will be enough. And the third effect is you can summon one doppelganger token with level 5, attack question mark and defense 0 with the type and the attribute and the attack of the equipped monster as a special summon, and it's a once per turn effect. And he does it with Deerbound, so then he gets a copy of Deerbound Kernel. So there we go. So then Grief Tablet, another of those ones. How do we analyze or unfold that Seto kaiba was involved into this duel with a lot of dragon on this artwork? Grief Tablet also equips spell card, and it works like that. The equipped monster can neither attack nor be tributed as a tribute summon. Additionally, all its effects are negated, and once per turn, if the equipped monster that you control, if you control the monster that's equipped to this card, you can give your hand a Wedju card from your deck, except for Grief Tablet. So they did this second effect for the Wedju theme, of course. And the third effect is if this card is brought to the graveyard because the equipped monster has been destroyed, you put 500 points of battle damage or of effect damage to your opponent. So also very cool effects, like the effect of negating the effects and not being able to tribute the monster is very good. And then also the effect damage as the third effect is very great. So there we go. Then of course we have Monster Reborn, and of course I wanted to have this one as a lost art because we do have, or Yami Bakura at least does have some other cards. I think that one is called Reborn Tablet or Rebirth Tablet, and it's also got this how was it called, the Ankh on the artwork, but it's a trap card. But I thought it would be then appropriate to also have this lost art Ankh Monster Reborn in here, of course, especially on monster from your opponents or from your graveyard. Stop defense. I'm not sure anymore. I think he played out in the dual skin, but he has a card, I think, in the Dawn of the Duel arc, which works similar, where you can switch the opponent's monster from defense to attack mode. By the way, this one is an ultra rare from the Kaiba suitcase. Whoa, you might not realize it by now. Okay, then Contract of the Dark World. Of course, the ritual spell card for the Dark Master Zork. Oh, just wanted to look it up because this one is an ultra rare. Originally, it's of course from Dark Crisis, but this one was from Mega Pack 10, Pack 10 22. Spiritualism, one of those cards which he plays out in Battle City. Dragon one spell trap, or like there is, I think, spiritualistic medium, but this one, yeah, it has a similar artwork and also a similar name. Dragon one spell trap, your opponent controls return attack to the hand. This card's activation cannot be negated. That's also one of the upsides. And by the way, we do have this dude in here, if you just might not realize, on the artwork of the playmat. Shadow Grave, a monster special summon retrieving effect, which we do get witness in the Battle City arc from Yami Bakura. Each you and your opponent can special summon one monster from your graveyard, from their graveyard, respective graveyards, in face-down defense position. And if your opponent does not have any, then of course he or she cannot special summon. Dark Sanctuary, guys, I had to have this in here because it's one of the most core strategies in Battle City arc. also with the artwork. And field spell, of course, and the effect works like that. If Spirit Message card would be placed on your field with Destiny board, you can special summon it as a normal monster, fiend type, dog attribute level 1, attack 0, defense 0 instead. And if you do, it's unaffected by card effects, except Destiny board, and cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, toss a coin. If the result is heads, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the current attack of that opponent's monster. So very much the effect of the Dark Sanctuary in the anime, but also with, I think you can attack directly. It's little minor detail downside, but still very strong effect, and it also does fit in the theme. As well as Dark Door, a card which I think is really strong still, because you prevent your opponents from attacking them more than once with, I think, all those meta boards with 5 monsters. Then this continuous spell, and during your the battle phase, just one monster can attack. Of course, you limit yourself as well, but it's a very good stalling and stopping chemistry, you might say. Really good. Defensive in its nature. It might help you, and then if you maybe have a mystical space typhoon in your deck, then you can destroy it if you want to go then to the attack. Switch your whole tactics to attack. Ectoplasma. Continuing spell card, first edition Soul of the Duelist, by the way. I had to show it off, but it's not that in great condition. It's like maybe good. But still, once on the end phase of the turn of each player, this monster you can offer him on monster as a tribute on your side of the field, and put damage to your opponent's life points and equally to half of the base attack of the tribute monster. So also going into that effect damaging effect, which we have in his deck. Then of course the Spirit Messages I, N, A, and L. Of course, they all work with this Destiny board, which is of course then also in here. I would say you might copy or make your photos for this very spell line up. I give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we get to the traps. So, trap cards from this actual arc, we do have only, I think, 2, which are new. The other ones are 3 in total. The other ones are still old ones. As I already said, of course, we do have Destiny board, and here with along with the Spirit Messages, you have, if you have all of them on the field, then you automatically win the duel. Then I gave him Dark Spirit of the Silent, which also is in here, which of course redirects an attack. This card cannot only be used in the battle step of your opponent. Negate the attack of an opponent's monster, which and then you switch or force your opponent to attack another monster of his face-up monster of your opponent. And if the new target is in defense position, you bring it into attack position. Very strong card, I think, as well. You play it out in Battle City. Multiple destruction. He has to have also some draw power in here. If both of the players got 3 cards or more in their hands, every player puts his entire hand in random row on the bottom of the deck. Additionally, you lose life points equally to the entire amount of the due to this effect being brought cards onto the deck per 300. Then each player draws until he or she got 5 cards in their hand. Yeah, and it's also once per turn effect, but a very great draw power effect, but still with a little downside, which we could not prevent to have here. Curse of Royal. also thought this really resembles those cards, and there were also cards in which were anime exclusive in this arc, so a little counter trap. You get the activation of a card that includes the effect of destroy one magic or trap card and destroy it. So now the remaining 3 trap cards are cards which we actually played out and or shown in Yami Bakura's hand. First of all is Invitation of the Earthbound, or it's like called Invitation, I think. Activate this card only if an opponent's monster attacks, and then you can choose the attack target. A little bit similar to this Dark Spirit of the Silent. Then we have a Spirit Zoma, also this in continuous trap, like Destiny board, of course, also in continuous trap. After the activation, you special summon one monster in defense position. It is treated as an effect monster, type zombie, attribute dark, level 4, attack 1800, defense 500. This card, this is stored to battle. You can inflict effect damage equally to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. Yeah, and if this card is a monster card, will also be treated as a trap card still. Also very good effect with those effect aligning with this very effect damaging strategy which Yami Bakura has gotten here. Last but not least, Spirit Shield, also a card which came out last year, which was one of the new Yami Bakura cards which is just played out in this very arc. Also in continuous trap. Once per turn, if you're a monster of your opponent declares an attack, you can banish one fiend or zombie type monster, negate the attack, and once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy one or more cards involving fiend type and zombie type monsters, then you can banish one zombie or fiend type monster, negate the activation, once per turn effect, and during the end phase, if you do not possess any fiend type or zombie monsters or control any fiend type or zombie monsters, you have to destroy this card. So as long as if you have zombie or fiend type monsters, this card works. A little downside there, but still you can negate attacks, and you can also negate any other effects if this is in the graveyard. So very great effect right there. Very handy and convenient in this very deck. So this is it, guys. We do you might copy those traps as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we do have a last card, namely a fusion, which is very unfamiliar or unlikely for Yami Bakura. We didn't see him play out any fusions at all until this very arc, which is Duke of the Demise, a combination of the Earl of the Demise and the Headless Knight, I think. But in this particular TCG version, you have to have 2 fiend type and or zombie monsters. So like you can combine also fiend type and zombie, or maybe 2 fiend types or maybe 2 zombies in order to special summon this one, or fusion summon it rather. Once per turn, I forgot already. Dark attributes and 6 stars, 2000 attack, 1700 defense, and its effect works like that. And once per turn, during a standby phase, pay 500 life points or destroy this card. Cannot be destroyed by battle. You can so you have to pay life points, a little downside, but it cannot be destroyed by battle. You can activate each of the following effects of Duke of the Demise just once per turn. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolved, summon one monster as normal summon. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard and choose one fiend type or zombie type monster with level 4 or higher from your graveyard and put it to your hand. So a little effect, recycling effect, you might say, and also of course a little summoning effect as well. So in order to give you a strong board, this card is very very practical in its nature. And I will be having one of those cards in one of my fiend type or zombie decks, I think. Yeah. And a fusion deck, of course, the extra deck. So this is it, guys. This is all about, by the way, this is one I pulled from the Maze of the Master set back in the day. Yeah, this is it, guys. This was Yami Bakura's Dawn of the Duel deck. So some of you might already realize by now that or memorized it, that Yami Bakura is one of my favorite characters, as well as its own nature, you might say, but especially, of course, if you look at this deck. Yeah, I think it's very cool. Has some cool monsters in there. I love the eerie, crafty vibe which he's got, and very passive aggressive strategy in nature. Great tactics, and yeah, he brought Yami and Yugi, Lil Yugi, and also Seto Kaiba. Although I have to disagree a little bit with me there and correct myself. With Seto Kaiba, it was a very, very close. It was not so far preceded that duel, so we cannot have a judgment there. But with Yami Yugi and with the Little Yugi, it was really, really one step away from really destroying and finishing them off entirely. So very capable duelist, but also really the embodiment of evil, which I do not like that much, I have to admit. But yeah, in his own right, he had a traumatizing past from Kul Elna, but then all the negative spirits and evilness in general got to him, and then he became sort of the main villain of this very Duel Monsters arc. So this is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Sorry that the music went off, but it does that somehow anytime, because we have some internet issues in here with the Wi-Fi, so that happens sometimes. And like always, I wish all of you a good morning, a good midday, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and wherever you might witness this one. This is me, your Slifer Maniac, and then big peace.